Check. Very good morning for everyone over here. And this is Remo Shihan. Um, First of all, I would like to thank International Youth Alliance for Peace for reaching out to me and giving this great opportunity to reach out to this entire audience in social media, mainly youths today. And yes, I'm going to speak, maybe mostly share what I think and what I have experienced in terms of youth participation in community. And right now, it is more about the situation that we are facing in this juncture of COVID-19. And then what sort of a role that youth can play in COVID-19 responses in today's context. So for that, I would really like to take an understanding from a community level. And do we, youth, really understand the part that we play in a community that we already exist? And realizing that itself gives us a sort of a responsibility on us. And the responsibility is to understand that I have some sort of an action to be delivered towards my community. And also to realize that I'm already a part of a change and my action do affect it. And we got to decide whether it's in a positive or a negative way. So again, rephrasing on it, youth are already part of a community. And right now the communities are facing a real-time challenge and a life-threatening challenge. And the role that I play as a youth, it contributes to the change. And how it contributes? Does it contribute towards a progressive end? Or that contributes towards a negative end? So I would like to bring back the perception that has been put on youth in the recent past or in the past. As around the world, youth have the more power. They are the atoms of the community and of the international community. So your energy and your power can be taken for a positive thing, and also it can be utilized for a negative thing. But it is my responsibility to realize what I'm involving in, what I have been taught about, what I'm being inspired of. So most of the organizations or the youth groups that are working with youth and the peace building organizations and initiatives, we are trying to focus and work closely with the communities and youth to ensure the information, the knowledge, and the awareness we give away for youth around the world is much important. It's carefully been tested. It's carefully been taken and been shared with the youth so that we are very sure that we are keeping them safe from being manipulated and being eradicated. So the way how youth are being radicalized is something that we really need to look into. So that is what I'm directly taking that to the understanding of today's context. So once me as a youth understand that the role that I play in a community and my action can affect the big group. For example, there are enough and more youths on ground today taking a life-threatening risks every single day, and who are coming from a family with families also been put in risk because the youth are already out and they are facing the community, the risky communities in terms of COVID-19. So I do see there are many with pure heart and pure passion who really want to be on ground and be part of the solution. And at the same time, there are people who have been misusing the opportunities. So the ones who are misusing the opportunities, or someone who has a different agenda of what they are doing in terms of COVID-19 response, and when that goes wrong, that also affects the one with a pure passion and who are on the ground working. So that is what I want to correct the past of how youth have been also labeled a negative force. And youth are not. youth are not. Unless, as usual, the energy of youth is being used or manipulated or radicalized for a different reason. So this also brings me to understand the current mindset of youth and their goal. What sort of a personal goal that I have, and when you work on the ground. That will help you narrow down or filter your actions or think very carefully where I'm going towards. And I'm actually going together with a community that is behind me, or am I actually going together with the core community of youth who are trying to be on ground to help and part of the solution? Or am I trying to be somewhere different and then I can eventually create a negative impact on the whole community of youth? So let's think about it. Let's think about it as the right people. And let's think about understanding the responsibility as a youth that's been owed on me and the actions that I'm obliged to give back. So at this time when you look into the social posts and on medias and social medias, things like this, sometimes it's also staying home itself is a big responsibility. Yes, it is indeed. How we are guiding, because we are the ones, like youth are more connected to the international world or the bigger community, and are we really actually getting linked and getting touched with what is exactly happening and the updates and daily information, and are we giving it back to our families and keeping our family up to date in terms of personal security, health advisories, and many things? So staying home and keeping our ears really wide and trying to be part of the solution itself is a huge responsibility, of course. But other than that, how we are collectively safeguarding our own families and our communities is much important. And at the same time, I will also like to remind about our individual decencies and responsibilities again. It is much important what sort of a or behaviors and attitude that I'm developing, that I'm showing. That also brings me down to talk on how youth handling the social media at today's context. This is applicable for someone who is on solution-based groundwork, and also someone who is staying home and going through social media. That narrows down to every single action. For mainly for someone who is actually on ground and doing work. The way that we post the pictures, the way that we record what we are doing. And it has a bigger demand indeed. Someone who is sponsoring or giving some funds to do or to lead or implement a certain action in the community. And specifically if it is a crowdfunding program. And there's always a need for you to showcase or to report online on what you are doing and how you are utilizing the fund that you have raised. But then follow certain disciplines or ethics in terms of social media, of not putting the beneficiaries in a situation or maybe a social shame, if you call it in that way. Do we really looking into that? And also, when we are too young, we really need to think many times of every actions and what we see and what we express and what we write in social medias. Because in the recent past, there has been a lot of forums, a lot of discussions and debates and comments on should you do this or shouldn't you do this and what sort of a practice that you should follow. But the problem comes is where there's many youth groups, many organizations like community centers, national and international organizations on ground doing millions of work. And everyone is handling the social media and updating information in a multi different ways. So that is the problem where comes. And we also see community-based, very small groups, maybe a couple of individuals who's trying to do things. Again, this is where I want to emphasize again. You are a youth, an individual who are already part of a change, and your action effect. You decide, am I contributing positively or negatively? Think. Then the second of most, out of what we have been discussing or sharing with you guys, the collective effort always contributes. This is the right time to realize that. Youth have always been the best and also the bad. So here, to realize, if we are collectively working on a perfect, on a right solution, and also to understand where you are exactly intervening. Are we actually like looking into the very famous ways or the traditional ways of intervening into particular solve problems? We understand how the community is getting affected. And one of the things is to intervene on something very usual. Or you're really looking into the right place where there are some particular areas which are not being addressed. There are certain solutions which are not being taken responsibility on because it's difficult, because it's hard, maybe it's risk-based. But the right solution and right intervention is there. So I would like to encourage the youth groups and maybe the individuals to think and seek for such kind of interventions which are not being taken up. So your efforts are more meaningful. I'm not trying to be part of already 1,000 number, but let me go and figure out there are one or two, some sort of action is needed, but no one has taken a responsibility. So let me do it. That's the right way of expressing your social interest and your responsibility and utilizing the youth energy. I'm really getting into the actions, or I'm really getting into the solution because it's must, or I'm doing it for the sake or for different agendas. Your intention matters. Your intention matters, and your intention influences you in your action, and your action impacts the change. Think whether I'm positively contributing or negatively contributing. Am I redefining the past of the perspective given for youth, or I'm just contributing to what the negative perspectives I've already given, and I'm just continuing to prove it right, and I'm leading the way? Or am I changing it? Or am I being the solution to change it, rather not being part of the massive number? Because your action inspires someone. And remember, you are also being inspired by someone, or some people, or some efforts. So that is something that we really need to realize. You are part of shaping the community that is immediately around you, or the community that has to come. You have been shaped by the community already. You have been shaped by the actions, by the words, and what you have experienced and seen. And maybe when you are in ground right now, you are shaping the community, the younger ones who are looking at you. So you have more responsibility than you would have ever realized. So alarm in your head, think what I am doing it and how I am doing it. And there's another really important, and I am very sure even in I Inspire sessions, a couple of people have talked about it. My decency and my responsibility when I am on social media. Even a like that you tap on your phone. Are you really doing that for the right information? Are you sure the information is right? It's not wrong? And are you sure what you like, what you share and comment on and laugh at, it's something that are potential enough to create hatred and hate speech around the communities? Because most of us, even the elder ones at your house, they really don't know what they are contributing to. Because you think it's just a share. Okay, this is like very funny at that moment, and I can gain maybe 100 likes for this, so let me share it. You are not just sharing a particular random post, but you are sharing something very potential enough to create hatred among people and beliefs. and mainly in countries like us. And this is something that I have been commonly noticing and something that I have been discussing in the international forum in the recent past. People really don't understand how powerful every single action that they have contributing, and mainly on social media. Your random like is not a random like. And what you randomly share over the seconds, and you are actually contributing for a bigger problems, something that is not tangible, but you are part of it. So let us be very, very conscious about our actions. Let us really, really realize the system that you are already part of, which is your immediate community, and what you do that contributes, and make sure that we contribute for really positive change. At the same time, you are the main runners of today's world. And our energy, our knowledge, the passion is what is being invested. And right time, yes, the manpower matters, your intellectual power matters, and your time matters. So I also really want to encourage, even you are a small individual or a small initiative that you are trying to do something very small in your immediate community, but then still your time, your effort, and your passion and your power is invested on something very small, and how sustainable it is. I know for sure when you have a lot of questions of what you are doing, it makes what you do more difficult. But stand strong for questions. Stand strong for all these ideas, because that makes what you do more powerful, more effective, and more sustaining. So unless it doesn't sustain, how well your intentions and your energy and passion has been utilized? It's a question for your own self. So that is where it narrows down to a very simple thing. Yes, we are part of a relief. So relief is a relief. It's like immediate response, right? But then how many of us are actually looking into the real problems behind it? For example, we are right now fighting with the current situations, and many people doing relief works and dry rations and things like that. Yes, it is very important. And we are identifying communities and families which are really affected by this situation. But COVID-19 was not the main cause of the problems or the situations. So there are more reasons. There are more reasons behind the family, which is starving out there, and the families which really, really don't have sustainable supplies, and the children are not being fed. There are many issues like that, right? And also you look into the women who are getting affected these days, and in terms of health and sanitary related issues. These are not the problems that origin just because of COVID-19. It came to light. It came in a big scale and a big problem and an issue that is more visible and more reachable because of this lockdown and COVID-19. But the issues that exists already. COVID-19 was not the cause, but it helps us figure out or realize. It's a bad time to realize a lot of other issues. So I encourage the youth to be more productive, to think really in a wide way, and see something that the initiatives that we can take right now, a small step that we can take right now. It does address the immediate need, but it doesn't just stop there. You put a comma and try to have a longer vision forward and see what I can continue to provide my support. where I can continue to help in the change and the progress that I can make. So this is again what I started with. Realize and understand the system or the community that you are already part of. And your action can impact because you're already part of the change. You're already part of the solution. You're already part of the national movement. Because the entire world, the entire country that you live in, and the entire world is looking for individual responsibility and individual commitment and contribution for this change. And every single individual act reluctant and non-responsible on this, how far we are going to suffer is going to continue. How sooner we get out of this problem, it directly it directly depends on every single one of ours. Right? So it's not just youth, children and the elders. But here the youth acts the catalyst. And the youth plays a role in between. Again, you hold the most power, not the children and not the elders, the youth, the most powerful body of a community. So now, do you understand how serious responsibility that we are holding on to? Do we really understand the whole world? It does looking at the youth because you are the huge part of the solution. Take your time to redefine the negative labels in the past. Hold on to the opportunities to prove we are productive and we are best part of the solution. And redefine the labels. There are much and enough people who have been doing it. And those are the youth groups we are encouraging. They are encouraging the entire people out there. So make sure, at least if I'm not being able to be part of the positive role making of youth, at least let me not be the negative end of it. So look into actions. Once you are in the community, you are not anymore a personal individual. You are part of a bigger community. So it's your responsibility and you are obliged to do it. Because I don't have any rights to create a negative impact on someone who is rightfully on the ground doing the right thing with right passion and right need of the solution. So I don't have the rights to create the negative end. So this is something that we need to understand. This is something that we need to realize. Once we do that, our intentions will be really good and we will surely be building and contributing for the biggest positive change that you and me, the entire world is looking for. Every single day it delays, it creates a huge, huge negative effect on the most poor and the most vulnerable. So let us be more powerful. Let us be more creative. No more traditional ways of being involved. Use of your exposure, your knowledge, information, internet, and access to information to make your actions more creative, more powerful, and create a very strong plugin into your community. That what you do right now will last for many, many, many years of positive outcomes. So that is where I would like to end my note here and encourage everybody. And I really take this opportunity to thank every single individual from our own community, from Sri Lanka, and from around the world. Every youth and individual, not just youth, every individual who are on ground. Because this is not the time of a normal disaster that we know. This is not a flood. This is not a different sort of a war zone. This is, we are trying to do and contribute to the enemy that we don't know of, we can't see, which is a life-threatening one. So everyone deserves a huge gratitude and thanks. and remember to be in prayers of everyone. So I take this opportunity personally to thank the ones who are already on ground, and I really want to thank people who have been with me and helping me and being able to do what we are supposed to do. And also, I'm encourage people to take your own disciplines and behaviors for a better contribution. Thank you very much, everyone, for watching me, and I hope my insight would have helped you at some better level and continue to be part of the great solution. Thank you, International Youth Alliance for Peace, for this opportunity, and all the best for your all the interviews in the future. Thank you very much. Stay safe and stay home.